folks. Welcome to the Snowy's Camping Show with Ben and Lauren. How are you going?
I'm well, thanks.
Good. How do you think my voice is, by the way? Does you think it's
lovely.
changed at all in any way?
No.
Because I recently had surgery on my throat and, I'm not going into it. But, I wondered if it's – because my kids think it's a tiny bit higher. And I was like, well, my job is to literally record my voice. So it would be obvious if it's changed. But I don't think you'd notice it if I didn't say anything. And then even when I said something, I don't think it's that different either.
No, we still put up with the same voice in the office speaking to customers.
That's true. Anyway, so don't forget to subscribe wherever you're listening to your podcast, and also jump onto Facebook and join our Snowy's Camping Banter group. Now, today we are talking about communal camping. Now, it's pretty topical because I just went communal camping on the weekend, which was quite lovely.
It's quite relevant too to some recent products that have just come in the range as literally the same week that we're recording this.
Yeah, and we've done an episode recently called I should have been prepared. I don't know the episode number or the episode title, but it was about expanding your setup.
Oh, yes.
So you know, different tent options that you could start basic or start huge and pare back without having to buy a whole new setup.
I think, we did mention Zempire's.
And we talked about Zempire and Quest and a bunch of different things.
It's out. It's up there.
It's out.
Yep.
So we mentioned the Watch This Space from Zempire, and that's now the Shapeshifter range. If you haven't checked it out, check it out online. It's on our website. There's some cool videos that Zempire have done. We haven't done a product review just yet, but we definitely will be prioritizing that soon because I know you guys really love the area-based videos and things.
We've seen it. Zempire came and set it up.
Ben and I have physically seen it in person. The thing that I love about it the most, and when I do get around to doing the product reviews, I'll really touch on it, but the thing that I love about it the most is that it feels like it's a canvas tent.
Yeah.
But it's actually not. It's just the way that they've managed to weave the fibers, and then the fibers are like super fluffy, and it's just got this really thick, dense sort of canvas feel to it. But anyway, I'm going down the line. It's just cool.
UV,
it's just cool. Like, it's definitely far out of people's price range. It won't suit everybody, and I'm sure that there are people that will make comments about how expensive it is. We get it. Zempire gear is expensive, but there are reasons for that, and those reasons aren't always going to be a priority for people. We also get that. It's not going to be for everybody, but you can't help but recognize how cool it is, especially when you have the details about the technology and the things that they're doing in that space. I mean, I guess it's like, I don't know, a high performance vehicle. Like, I don't know anything about cars, so I don't want to make a fool of myself, but not everybody can afford a Tesla. Do you know what I mean? Or not
high performance vehicle.
Well, I don't know. No, that's what I mean. Like, it's not a high performance vehicle, but you know what I mean? Like new technologies and things like, or, you know, one of those Volvo, what do you call them? Those fancy ass electrical Volvos I don't know, whatever. Not everybody can afford those, and that's okay. Like we all have different priorities and different abilities to access gear.
I think
so I don't know. I've gone on a total tangent here. I just wanted to highlight that because just because we always, or not always, but just because we often bang on about Zempire gear and some of their technologies and things, it's not that's, I just don't want people to get this impression that I can't afford it.
I think
I would love to get it, but I can't afford it.
But I'm going to premise that with an argument.
Okay.
I'm going to take your tangent and pull it back because this is going to come back to the communal camping thing as well, because this also leads on from that, you know, building out your campsite type of thing, because it's putting stuff together to create a communal sort of campsite, but also sometimes you just want it for two, so you don't need all these communal things, and that's where the Zempire, because it's modular, you can start with a basic thing and then you can add to it depending on how much you want to do for your campsite. Now, I challenge anyone who, before you jump up and say it's too expensive, this makes me think of a comment because I'm in surf life saving, and This is, I know I'm on a tangent. It's a tangent of the tangent.
This is going to be one of those episodes where we just guys.
Yeah,
so
sorry, this is not going to be short anymore. There's a sign that's on a fence somewhere, or maybe it's made up, but because with volunteers, we volunteer, and then we get a lot of people complain they haven't done this, haven't done. Why is that not run like this? And then this sign says, before you complain, have you volunteered yet? So before you complain about price, I challenge you to have a look at the Zempire's shapeshifter system and have a look at what it would cost with the base model plus whatever you want to add to it, and then compare a similar setup by adding accessories to, say, an Oz10 RV or a Black Wolf Turbo, and then compare the price.
Look, that's actually it is a very good point. And I was literally, sorry, I know I've cut you off here, but I was literally sitting here thinking that at the moment, the direction that I'm planning to go in with is I've got my brother's given me an A-frame trailer for free, right? And so I'm like, right, I'm just going to, for the next year or two, I'm just going to deck that out, and that'll be everything that I need, because I can borrow my dad's car anytime I want, and we can do a car trade and I can tow that anywhere. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, I think that's what I'm going to go with. Yeah. But I'm going to be putting in a hot water system, a 12-volt battery system. I'm going to put a rooftop tent on it. I'm going to put induction in it. Do you know what I mean? And so that's going to end up being 4 times the cost of the shapeshifter tent. And I've just literally said in this conversation, I can't afford it. Yep. So it just really comes down to you as an individual person, what you can or can't afford, what you do or do not prioritize. And the reason why I'm doing that is because it's just a bit more all-in-one. And I've had the luxury of camping out of a camper van and had that experience of just being able to, all I need to do is pack clothes. Yep. And as I'll get into it in a minute, I've just been communal camping on the weekend, and my only option was to tent camp, which I did. But just the level of sort of pack up and set up and whatever involved in that, whilst doable and still perfectly achievable, it's just not something I want from my camping experience anymore. For me personally, I just don't want to go back to doing that. Yeah. And so if I was wanting to tent camp, of course my priority would be different, and the shapeshifter would be an exceptional
well, it adds versatility to that extension thing, and you don't have to set everything up. You can have simple, you can have complex. So if it's communal camping, you can add everything on there. That's going to cost a lot, and it's probably a lot for someone who just wants a simple 4-person family camping tent. It's going to be more expensive. But if you're looking at Oz10 RV, and if I was in the market again, I love my Oz10 RV. It's great. Don't get me wrong.
Well, it's getting sticky.
No, not that. That's my hiking tent.
Hiking tent.
That's fine. That's good. And that's the other trouble. You buy a good tent, and I'm like, well, I want it to wear out now, because now there's this shapeshifter thing. And if I was in the market now, that's what I would buy.
Think about packing a shapeshifter in your setup versus the RV.
Well, and I'll leave everything attached.
You won't even have
20-something kilos on the roof.
Probably, what would you have on the roof rack realistically now? Not much.
No, some bulky stuff just to make a bit more space in the back. It would make setup totally different, and I can add to it. If I bought that before kids, I would have started basic and then added a module. And then I could probably sell that module, because I'll be back to just 2 eventually.
Yeah, correct.
So anyway,
we're 10 minutes in, and we're talking about communal camping.
I'm trying to get back to that.
Not what we've talked about.
So my segue is so we've pretty much covered off on the heavy duty kind of like deluxe end of this category, rather than starting simple. But it is kind of the same, because we are talking about joining shelters. So when you go communal camping, often 2 families, or maybe you and parents and kids, and you kind of want to create this joined kind of system. People love to join tents. Even at Coleman Instant Up Tents, they've got the little Velcro strip on the awning that attaches to the gazebo, so you can just join it. It's not always that weatherproof, but people just like to join it. Not much different than just butting it up in most cases. People just like the joining thing. Now, it creates this kind of communal feel, and particularly if the weather's bad, you can create sleeping areas and then kind of get from one sleeping area to another, largely under shelter. In the deluxe versions, almost completely weather sealed. Yeah. So I wanted to cover off on that. I said you'd lead this episode, but I've jumped in.
That's fine.
But I thought I'd start with a very basic.
Your plan for this episode is just in a really different direction to my plan for the episode. So we're fine. We'll cover both. You just go first and then I'll go second.
The plan started with communal camping and then went off on a tangent and then kind of covered the end of this episode. And now we're back at the start and we're still 10 minutes in and we've not really covered off on much of it at all. But I'll let you go now.
Well, my sort of view with communal camping, especially having just experienced it this weekend. So in the scenario that I went communal camping with, it was like my lad's recently turned 18. He didn't want to have a party. He wanted to go camping with his family.
Awesome.
And, he's a great kid and I love him for that. So, no, I mean, not that if he wanted to have a party, it wouldn't have been that big a deal, but just the fact that he's like, I don't want to party. I just want to go camping. Good job, mate. Raised you well. Anyway, so we had my parents, his grandparents, all of his aunties and uncles, his cousins and his great-grandparents. So my great-grandparents are still getting about and great auntie and uncle as well. And they're over from Victoria. So we all drove to the Riverland, somewhere a bit easy for sort of halfway-ish for most people involved. But, my grandparents, his great-grandparents, they towed their caravan and they had their boat. The great auntie and uncle just came across in their new Hyundai and they actually just stayed at a cabin in a caravan park just around the corner. So they came and spent the days with us. I had one of my brothers in a swag. My other brother and his family, they had like a pop-top camper that they shared that space with my sister and her husband. Then my mum came and they've got a T-van. And then I was there and I have a Dacia Safari 350, right? And that's got all of us in. So in that particular situation, as with majority of communal camping situations, you don't have control of what everybody else's setup is going to be like, right? You don't know what people have got, whether they're going to tent camp, whether they're going to caravan camp, swag, whatever. So in that particular situation, so many different things. Those don't really link up very easily, right? So the one thing that we didn't have, which we should have had, was a communal shelter.
Yep.
And obviously rookie mistake on my behalf, considering.
You've always got your big communal heavy-duty air raid style shelter.
Correct. That has been that's previous time. That's a previous chapter of my life, which I don't have now. But I do have shelter. Like I have a Quest Air gazebo and things like that. But I just didn't think about it. And we went to a campsite that I had assumed was how it has always been, but they've recently done some upgrades and they've put in all these like wooden bollards and things like that. So you can't literally just set up camp wherever. And you used to always be able to also just have a fire in the ground as long as you could. But now they've got these stupid rings, which totally other tangent, impossible to do comprehensive campfire cooking for a large group of people in those stupid hexagonal fire rings that parks not going there.
Yes, please don't comment on that.
Yeah. Anyway, so in that particular situation, we're a bit more spread out. So we had around the campfire, we had tables and things, but the weather was bad. And so it's like every time there was rain for any long period of time, or like it's all great to sit around the campfire and have a yarn and have some tables out. But then it's like it rains and then it's like half the chairs went over there to Nana's caravan with her and then half of them went over there. And then some people were standing under that shelter and some people standing under another shelter. And it's, you know what I mean? So having a communal shelter space is actually really important and something that you shouldn't forget. So whether you're responsible for it or you ask someone else in your group to bring it, no matter what.
Yep.
The other thing with communal camping is that I talked about, which isn't sort of gear related, but I thought about was how do you actually organize a communal camping trip? You know, like how do you plan for the gear that you take and, you know, like does everybody just take everything or for us and for most trips that I've done in the past at a communal camping, get a group chat going. I mean, we've all got Messenger or WhatsApp. There's so many different platforms you can use now for group chats. Get a group chat going, have a discussion about who's got what. If you don't have anything or you don't have something in your setup, find out if someone else has got it that they can bring on your behalf or they're willing to share. in terms of like things like food, for example, we just had everyone's like, what do we do for food? Well, it's like you bring everything you want for breakfast, lunch and snacks, and then we'll take turns in cooking dinner. So we allocated somebody to cook dinner on Friday night and Saturday night, Sunday, whatever. So that's everybody can contribute a meal that's a little bit different. Maybe your cooking style is different. The way you want to go about it is different, whatever. So there's just communal camping can be really great.
Yeah.
Can be really great.
I think the group chat thing's a good idea because it's just you want to ask questions about I don't have this. I'll see if someone has got something I can use, or I'm taking something that everyone can use.
Yeah.
Maybe I just double check to make sure everyone's not bringing the same thing that everyone can use, and we'll just take one or two of them instead. Yeah. So other than that, you're still going to pack for your family, aren't you?
Definitely.
Roughly the same.
Pretty much. Yeah. And it's like, first things first is lock down your dates. No matter how far in advance they are, lock them down, get everybody to commit.
Yeah.
That's your first thing. Then your second thing is work out where you're going to go. And then your third thing when you get closer to it is things like food and gear.
Also share the facilities. I think sometimes you can, and I'm probably experiencing this more with my daughters as they get older. I go somewhere and they're like, what do you mean there's no shower? Well, we're bush camping.
Yeah.
I'm not, did you expect a shower? Yes, because she's about to turn 15 and she will camp, but she had a shower in the cold on our last campsite because she just needed a shower because her hair was disgusting.
Yeah.
That's just a change. But it made me think I've got to think about what the toilet facilities are like, what the shower facilities are like, and you might maybe 80% of your group's fine. Will have 20% said I need to be near a toilet. So you might need to book something that's near a toilet. So,
yeah. Take into those considerations as well.
So that's kind of, I see where you went with that. I like that. That's good. Yeah. My avenue was more around how do you kind of set that up. So where you said you missed a communal shelter, and you can create something like that pretty simply, right? And I listed a few things here with just a traditional poly tarp.
Yeah.
And poles and guy ropes and pegs. You can create a communal shelter, get a really big one, grab a heap of poles. It's going to take a little while to set up, a lot of pegs, but you can create a good shelter that way. If it's not going to rain, use a mesh one just for shade because it's going to be cooler to be under. And then if
flies, don't even get me started. They were rife.
Bad. They've come out quick this year. I noticed them on the beach the other day.
They were so bad. I couldn't tell the colour of someone's shirt from behind at one point. They were so bad, but I made a couple of makeshift fly traps. It made me think about your makeshift mouse trap. I made a few makeshift fly traps.
Up on the back here still.
Yeah, and they worked a bit of a treat.
Did you trap all the flies?
No, but seeing each time a new fly got caught in there, I was vindicated.
Satisfaction.
Yeah.
To step up the style of common shelter that you could create, there are some sort of custom tarps, I suppose. And Nature Hike do some pretty cool ones called the Cloud Skies, and Austral Hikerfly has always been a popular option. The size of it is kind of going to depend on the size of your group. Like your group, you probably needed to team
go
two or three of these together to create a shelter. If it's just two families, then one of the larger, probably, 6x6 type sort of sizes.
The other thing you can do is if you do, like I know a lot of people who have a regular every single year without fail between Christmas and New Year's, they go to Wilson's Promontory with the same 4 families and they have done that since they were teenagers and they will do that until they're 80.
Yep.
In those particular situations, if you're a camper like that and you communal camp with your mates, coordinate to a certain extent, like those Zempire aero-based shelters, for example. They're a really great shelter to have to take to the beach, to take camping, to do a day trip at the park with that inflatable air tubes. They're generally weatherproof in all occasions. See if somebody else in your group wants to invest in one. Yeah. And then you've got 2 and you can cover 40 people and you can link them together. So there's sort of ways that you can coordinate gear with people over time if you're in a committed camping relationship with some people.
Yep.
That's always, in my opinion, the best way to go about it.
So that's a good segue to the next section, which covers off on gazebos, because they're probably one of the more common shelters to create that central covered area for cooking and dining and that sort of thing. With the popular ones being like a 3x3, the Austral gazebo classic, always been a top seller of ours. You can join them together. You get gutter kits to go in between, so you can expand them out. You can get a 6x3 if you want. They're kind of bulky. You need to have space to transport
They're
them.
heavy and bulky. That's the downside, but they're versatile.
And you can join, there's air gazebos as well now, as you mentioned, Zempire, Quest. You can join all those together to create weatherproof seals between them. And on top of that, you can add more flexibility to how that works by adding walls or also inner tent kits and also porticos. Austrail have their portico and Zempire have just brought one out too. That's actually a sleeping quarters that attaches to the side of the gazebo.
Yeah.
So you can kind of create, you could put two if you like.
Yeah.
Like have one on each side and then a central kind of area for everyone to use.
Definitely. And I have actually seen like camping on the coast a few times where people they're doing a big communal camp. They've got their caravans and their different campsites, and then they've got this gazebo and it's got a portico attached. But the only reason why they use that is for the little kids to have day naps. So it's like everyone else is still up and about. They're still swimming. They're still running around. They're food prep, whatever. But your kids are really tired. You don't want to have to go back and sit at your own camp away from everybody while your toddler has a sleep. You can do that in a portico. They're very inexpensive. They don't add much more in terms of bulk and size to what you're packing, and they're a really great way to create that safe space. Even if kids just want somewhere out of the sun to just rest and read a book, but not want to be away in a different camp, really great idea.
Zip away from the insects or something while everything else is going on. They're not the best if you are using it as a primary sleeping quarters, particularly if it's cold weather, because they're generally single skins, so
and
you get a bit of condensation.
Rain as well. Not all of them are super waterproof. Yeah.
So mild weather or just for a bit of shelter during the day. But yeah, gazebo is probably a bulkier way to add communal things, but there's so many accessories for these gazebos to join them, gutter kits, awnings out the side, so you can expand it out from there. To take that a step further, in particular with Zempire's system, you can then take like their air gazebo and physically attach it with a weatherproof link to a tent. So you can have a 4-person or 6-person or larger family tent on one side. Same thing on the other. Or you can have it on 4 sides if you like, with this central kind of shelter and these links that zip and create waterproof shelters. We've done a bit of a walkthrough on this that type of setup. I think I did it a while ago, and we had a Evo tent and a Pro Series tent attached to one of their Aerobase, I think, shelters. So you could walk in the door in the back of one of them to the sleeping area, through the common area of the tent, out through the link into the Aerobase, through the other link into the awning of the Evo, and then into the sleeping quarters, and you weren't outside at all. So if it is really bad weather, you can create that fully weatherproof sort of structure. Now, dollars go up. The bulk of what you're packing goes up if you're taking that many tents, although probably not. If 2 people are taking a tent each and then there's a shelter between you and then just the links, it's not that much extra. But they are properly weatherproof seals, like down to the floor. And they create that weatherproof sort of zone between it all. And this is where the shapeshifter comes into it as well, where you can add and reduce, and that attaches to their speed base is their new one as well. And the flexibility is amazing because you can just have a sleeping quarters attached to the speed base, or a sleeping quarters and an awning and a living space, and then a speed base. Or you can take one of those out and have a look at the video.
And then you also have things like I don't know off the top of my mind, but not the Aero base, the roadie base. It's a slightly different system that they do as well, which is a bit more of a canvassy type, heavier duty one. You can get a bedroom pod for that, but you can also get a link for your car. So if you're a car camper, you can attach that shelter straight to the back of your car. You can have a sleeping pod on it. You can have walls. So much versatility.
Now, the downside, and you raised a good point before, with everyone coming with their van, their tent, their 4-wheel drive, they don't all link. The Zempire system works if everyone's got a Zempire tent.
Yeah, that's true.
So if you've got communal camping that you do regularly, if you're planning now with these people to do this for the next 10 or 20 years and you want a good communal camping setup, maybe you'll try and buy the same tent so that you can just link them all up, because it is a really good system if that's what you want. It's not my style of camping. I like to walk out of my tent into the open. And you probably find if it is a really wet
away
environment,
from people.
I like to camp where I can't see other people.
I
imagine it would get a bit stuffy in there as well, because you're still going to get the whole condensation thing going on if there's not good airflow. So you still need to think about airflow. It's one thing to seal it up and go, no water's coming in, but then that's going to get moist inside there as well. And it gets a bit stuffy after a while. But they're probably the best linking systems that what Zempire's got. And Quest are coming out with some pretty good options there as well. And I just wanted to touch on the heavy duty options, which have been around for a while, like the Oz10 RVs, Black Wolf turbos. They've always come with options to sort of join stuff up and extend it out. The RVs have got joiners to go to a caravan, join tent to tent, so you can have 2 tents front to front, walls on the side to create a common area in between. Black Wolf's turbo, they had their and I can't remember what it's called, turbo awning. I think it was just called the turbo awning, and that attached to the awning of the turbo, so you could put them end to end with this extra awning in between. So it created this extended area between. Then you can add walls on that if you like. So you've got this long communal spot. Just put walls on one side to stop wind coming in one way and it's open on the other. So they're once again a more expensive option, heavy duty touring type option, but another good option to be able to create that kind of communal thing. If you're really hell bent on that actual physical joining up, not just butted up or it's a pretty good sort of seal, but actual physically joined up. Yeah. I know when it rained on a recent camping trip I went on, I wished I'd had the Oztrail awning connected, because I've actually put my side pull-out awning back on my car.
Yeah, right.
Because it was going to be raining a hell of a lot on this trip. I thought I need more shelter, so I put it back on. And I kind of had this kind of setup with angled things and made a makeshift sort of gutter to try and get the water to run away so we could go from the car to the shelter in rain without a physical joint. And it worked fine. But I had to kind of
a lot more stuffing around.
Mechanic it a little bit to make it sort of happen. But if I just had that joiner, I could have zipped that on, put it on the side track on the awning, and the seal's there
Bob's your
easily.
Uncle.
So there are certainly benefits to having that. But
Cool.
Was there other communal camping things? You've touched more on the human side of it. I've just gone down the
gear side
of it. But
not really. Not sort of that I'm not off the top of my head.
Preparation stuff's pretty, I think that's all a good tip.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you'll just end up with a car full of stuff that you didn't use because someone else brought it.
And also at the end of the day, like if you are considering on planning a group camping trip or a communal camping trip, just do it. And if you stuff up and people forget things, then you remember for next time and it's not a big deal and you can laugh about it and move on.
The campsite thing was good that you mentioned too. I should emphasize that because I know I went to the Grampians recently. There are some sites that are awesome group camping sites.
Yeah.
Others that just wouldn't work.
Yeah.
There's just not enough open space between the sort of tent pads to really create a communal sort of feel.
Yeah.
So check out most campsites now, and Parks Victoria had really good descriptions on what was a group campsite.
Yeah, so you check it out. And also you can join like local groups where you can ask people about campsites if you haven't been there for a really long time. But yeah, hopefully that helps.
Get out there and camp with your friends and family.
Cool.
Or just anyone.
Let us know if you've got any communal camping tips.
Yeah.
That'd be great. If you're one of those people that die on the hill of camping with the same people every single year, but at the same time, at the same place, I'd love to hear about that.
Yeah, there's a lot more than you realise, I think, that happens. Thanks for easy planning.
Definitely.
Because you just rinse and repeat each year.
Yeah.
Easy done.
Cool. Have a good one.
Thanks for watching. See ya.